Everybody's looking at you, kid. Come on, let's shag ass.
We have therefore made the assessment that COVID-19 can be characterized as a pandemic.
Simula sa 6 naman ng Agosto, ang NCR ay may escalate sa enhanced community quarantine.
Tila nalulunod na sa dami ng mga pasyenteng inaalagaan sa ospital at patuloy pang dumarating sa mga ospital dahil sa COVID-19.
Labels community pantries as a weapon of communists to recruit members.
In the last 3 days that the COMELEC has started accepting filing of COCs, we've seen 8 aspirants running for the presidency.
It's illegal to buy and sell votes.
But for many years, this has been the norm in Philippine elections.
Our conscience as human beings are always being challenged. Just in our everyday lives, we always make decisions that may or may not directly affect other people. But, especially during this time, the time for elections, our conscience and rational thinking will be heavily tested. We are to consider a lot of things to be able to choose who will be the best candidate to take the lead of our government. This is also when we practice our freedom as citizens of our country. There will be 2 scenarios where our decision-making abilities will be tested. The first one, during the elections you were in a line to cast your votes. Then, a person approached you and was giving you a bribe, telling you to vote for a specific candidate. You as a voter were surprised, but your conscience immediately told you not to take the bribe. And you didn't, because that was what was lawfully right to do, and you have good moralities and virtues. Also because the grace and Holy Spirit guided your conscience to choosing to do the right thing, not just because of your personal values or virtues, but also because you exercise true freedom, where you, as a voter, consciously or unconsciously choose to do righteous things and turn away from temptations, sins, and negativity. As the result of refusing to take the bribe, the future became bright and hopeful. The government became united and was working in harmony with its people. They were open, justice prevailed. There was equality for all, and the citizens also finally became trustful to the way the government works. Everyone is responsible for the consequences of the actions they made. So, in this situation, not taking the bribe had a great outcome. Doesn't it feel great when the effects of the decision you've made were good? When you know you've made or chose the right decision, not just for yourself, but also for the betterment of many. On the other side of the scenario, the voter happens to think that taking the bribe is better for their personal gain, whether it will be compensated with monetary or material gain. After all, everyone has freedom to choose, the voter thought. The voter, however, didn't consider what it means to exercise true freedom, because freedom is to do good.
The voter taking the bribe was not them utilizing their freedom to do good. That is why when we look into the consequences of that action, the future becomes dark and bleak, where the government oppresses its people, families affected badly by the administration, and the country put into corruption. Everyone is responsible for the actions that they have made. So, in this situation, the consequences of taking the bribe was a bad future. Now that the voter knows what the right thing to do is, it is time for them to choose who to vote for. Although the question still remains, who is the right person to vote? Someone who is strong-willed? Someone who has a clean record perhaps? The voter thought. The voter then reminds themselves of what it means to be a right candidate. A perfect candidate, if you may. A virtuous candidate, the voter thought. Virtuous candidate means a virtuous person. A person who practices virtues, such as faith, hope, and charity. Someone who portrays the likeness of God. as their beliefs easily reflect on who they are as a person. After assessing the virtuous attributes of each candidate, the voter now realizes the most fitting candidate for them. They also develop prudency as they uncover and learn the mistakes of past generations, through asking experiences from the older generations as they might have experience from voting. Now that the voter knows who to vote for, it is now time for them to know how to be a registered voter. The first step is to locate the nearest office of the election officer, satellite registration site, or mall registration site in your area. Second is to gather all the requirements. This includes masks, face shields, alcohol, ball pens, printed and accomplished application form and health declaration form from erehestro.com or the COMELEC website. And lastly, valid IDs. Third and final step will be to bring yourself and the requirements in the office near you, while following COVID protocols. The voter encourages everyone to vote with the guide of the Holy Spirit, as it will help everyone to live a virtuous life under the grace of God. Lastly, the voter inspires everyone to follow Jesus, as they would not have reached this conclusion if it weren't for the guidance that the Lord gave them. They also encourage everyone to pray so that they also have clarity in times where decisions are ahead of us, like deciding who to vote for.